Okay, so welcome to part 2 of the how to create the button clicker game using Love2D and Lua. In the previous tutorial, we created and set up our window. So if we run it here, so we set up the window, we set the size, we set some flags, and we set the title. In this tutorial, we are going to create a button and we are going to draw it to the screen. And maybe do some other things depending on how long that takes us. So let's close it here. So we set up the window, but now we actually need to create the button. And to do that, if you guys remember from the last tutorial, I mentioned about tables. We're going to use a table. So we don't have to use a table. I mean, it's probably easier to, which is what I'm going to. So I'm going to show you how to create a table and how to assign values to that table. So we're going to call, again, local keyword, because it's going to be local to this script only, really. And we're going to call this a button. Equals a new table using the curly brackets like that. We can then say button dot size is equal to, let's make it 50. Button dot x, so the x position of the button. We'll say, let's just set it for the moment at 100, and button dot y needs to be, let's actually just put that to 100 as well. And let's just go up here and call this button table, just like that. So we've created our button table and we've assigned some values to it. So size, x and y. Now we can call these values at any point through our code, and they will say, if I call button.size, it will return 50. If I call button.x, it's going to return 100. So now that we've created our table, we can actually start to draw the button to our screen using some of these values. Now to do that, it's pretty simple. Love2D comes with a bunch of methods for drawing to the screen, and we're going to use one down here. So the first thing we're going to do is type love. However, this time we're going to access .graphics. So drawing of shapes, images, management of screen geometry. So love.graphics. And we want to draw a circle. So love.graphics.circle. We can draw rectangles. We can draw pretty much anything. So love.graphics.circle. Open the brackets. Now it takes in a mode, an X position, a Y position, and a radius. So the mode, we can either do fill, so that will create a filled circle, or a line, that will be an outline circle. So we're going to do fill. And you can see it takes an X position, so we can use button.x. And it takes a Y position, so we can use button.y. And it takes a radius, but we're going to say size, so button.size. Just like that. And if we go down here, in fact, I think it might automatically be white if I run it. You can see it's drawn a circle to our screen using our values from button. So again, it's 100 pixels in, 100 pixels down, and it's 50, its radius is 50. So let's close that, and maybe let's change its radius to, like, I don't know, 10. Let's make it smaller, right? Just to see that it really does work. So there you go. Our button is really small now. So that's that. We're going to put it back to 50. But what if I wanted this button to be at the center of the screen, right? When it's created first, I always want it to be at the center of the screen. Well, to do that, we can simply just go to the button.x here, and we already know the width and the height of our window. So to get the center of the width, we just have to divide it by 2. So I could just say is equal to window width divided by 2, and if I want to get it in the center of the y-axis, I can just say window height divided by 2, and if I press Alt-L to run, it's now directly in the center of our screen. So that's good. We've created a button, we've told it where we want it to spawn, and we've drawn it to the screen. Great. So now we can actually start to mess around with some of these values. But before I do that, let's actually set the background color. Let's do that. So let's create a little comment here and say, draw the button. Okay, because we're only really going to have one button, and we're just going to kind of alter its position and size. Let's set the background color. So let's, again, access love.graphics.set background color, and now it takes in a RGB and, well, an A. So RGB, red, green, blue, alpha. It doesn't say alpha, but it does take an alpha. And these are float values, so it's 0 to 1. So you would usually do like red, green, blue would be 0 to 255. So like if you wanted a solid red color, it would be 255, 0, 0, and the alpha would be 255. But this takes in a float. So if you're going to use the default values, the usual values of 255, if I just find a RGB color picker here, so let's just say RGB, RGB color codes, let's go to that one. And let's pick a color for our background. Let's make it, I don't know. Let's make it blue. Why not? Why not make it blue? You can see the red value is 68, the green value is in the 193, and the blue is 255. So to get that to a float value, we simply have to divide this value here by 255. So if I just bring this to the other screen, you won't be able to see it for a minute, but I'll type them in. We know it takes 3 values in RGB, so the red is 73. So let's do 73 divided by 255. The blue was 195, sorry, the green was 195, divide that by 255, and the blue was 255. So we can just put in 1, because 255 divided by 255 is 1. And it takes an alpha as well. You don't need to put it in if you're not using it, but you can put 1, and that will be the alpha. But we're not going to really set the alpha because it's just the background, so we can just stay with that there. So yeah, 73 divided by 255, that will return a value between 0 and 1. So with that there, and we're only setting that to 1 because 255 divided by 255 is obviously 1. So let's just go here and then comment that out. It's always important to comment your code out, especially if you're beginning, just so you know what things do. So we say set the background color to blue, just like that. So that's great. We've created our background color and we've drawn our button. But now what if we wanted to, let's say we wanted to go from a main menu to this screen? Well, how would we draw a separate scene? We're going to do that by using something called a game state. Now, basically, this is just it's a string value that we compare, and I'll show you what that means. So we're going to create a new local variable. Let's just create a comment, game state. And I'm going to say that local game state is equal, and I'm just going to put a quotation mark, or sorry, we can do just a string or whatever. And we're not going to say it just yet. We're just going to create that variable. So that this is a string variable, we can put anything into it. But as soon as we load, okay, we want to set our game state to we want to go to our main menu when we load, right? We don't want to go straight to the play screen. So we need to set down here. So set the game state to main menu. And we can just say game state is equal to main menu. Again, you can either type it just like I did here, the two littles. Just you can either do quotations or what I just did there. So main menu. So now game state, as soon as we load, is equal to main menu. But what happens if I say down here, say this is going to be our play screen. If I say if, now this is a conditional statement to write them, it's going to do a couple of checks. So to do that, you just say if, and I can say if game state is equal to, now notice how I've done double equal sign there. When you do the double equal sign, that is a comparison. That means if game state is equal to the next value. If it did equal, just like that, it would throw us an error. So two equal signs means equal to. If game state is equal to, and then we can type what we want here. So is equal to play state. Okay, so if game state is equal to play state, then we need to say then Now we're just going to put end here. That, and I'm going to put these, with the button and the background color into this if statement. I'm just typing them in like that. So if we are in a play state, it's going to draw our button and it's going to set the background color. But we already set, well, on load, we set our game state to main menu. So if we actually run the code now, you notice that nothing gets drawn. Black screen. So that's basically how we can define different states of our game. So let's create our main menu. So let's say if game state in the draw function, if game state is equal to, and we already set it up here to main menu, so let's say main menu, then love.graphics.set, we'll set the background color. I'm going to set it to grey, just a really light grey, so I'll use 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, just like that, that's grey. And we can do, well, we can just test that right now. So we're in, oh, we got an error, good. This is pretty good. So sometimes when you're coding, you're going to get random errors like this. And obviously we've done something wrong, okay? And it's important to know how to read that error and then, fix it. So if we read it, says syntax error at main.lua line 52, end expected to close function at line 37. Okay, so there's a function at line 37. So it's telling us where the error is at line 52. So we go down to line 52. Here's the error. And it's saying, there's an end expected to close the function at line 37. So let's go to 37, love.draw. Now I can already see the error. And that's because we've set here, if the game state is equal to main menu, then run this. Well, it doesn't end. There's no end. So we need to say ends like that. And now the error will disappear. If we close, save and rerun. There we go. We have a nice grey background. You can set it a little bit darker. So I'm going to go 0.2, 0.2, and 0.2. Let's test that out now. Good. Okay. Now we can create some text on the screen. And I'll create the default text first. So we want to create the text on this screen, and we want it to say, button clicker. So for that, we can just do love.graphics.printf. Like that. There's two different versions of print, but we're going to use printf. And in that, it takes some arguments. So the first one is the string that we're going to print. Okay, so I'm going to put that in quotations, and I'm going to say button clicker game, whatever, right? The next one is the X and Y positions. So we can just do 0 and 0 for the moment. The next one is when the text should wrap. So basically how much width before this text goes onto a new line. Well, we can just use our window width because we don't really want, that text to go onto a new line. So we can just say window width. And now we need to define the alignment. So we just type center like that. Easy as that. And then if you press L to run, you can see it's created it at 0, 0. Okay, so axis 0, 0, so which is up here, because it's 0 on the x-axis and 0 on the y. We've set it to go to the center, which is here, and it's at the top. Now we can push it down. We can just say, if we want to put it to the middle of the screen, so remember 0 is our x-axis, that was our y, we can just say window height divided by 2. And I know that the default text size is 12, so I'm just going to say -6. And there we go, it's directly in the center of our screen. And in the next tutorial, I'll show you how to change this font and actually add some functionality to this menu. So stay tuned.